Hilda was a sad girl. She was always crying over something or other. In fact, she was really an awful crybaby. One day she was playing in her garden when a lovely butterfly flew in. Hilda had never seen anything so lovely. Its wings shone like a rainbow, sometimes blue and sometimes green, with black and golden frills around the edges. She reached out to pick him up. "Tut, tut, mustn't touch," said the butterfly. He fluttered out of reach. "But I only want to know if you feel as pretty as you look," said Hilda. "I just want to touch your wings." "Not a chance," he squeaked. "Why, a great big creature like you is too clumsy for a little fellow like me." "I'm not a great big creature," shouted Hilda. She was quite annoyed at being called a creature big or small, but the butterfly laughed at her. "From where I'm sitting," he said saucily, "you look like a great big creature. You shan't touch me." He sprang into the air. Hilda didn't like being laughed at, even by a butterfly. She tried to grab him from the air. He laughed. A little butterfly titter it was, and skittered away. Hilda chased after him. Round and round the garden they went, with the butterfly skittering and tittering, and Hilda shouting and grabbing. At last the butterfly grew tired of the game, so he flew over the wall, and Hilda never saw him again. I guess you know what Crybaby Hilda did then. That's right. She sat down on the grass and started bawling. She cried and cried until the tears poured down her face and dripped from her chin. And then she felt more tears falling right on top of her head. Hilda looked up, and there was a droopy blue flower looking very sad indeed. It was crying all over her head. Hilda didn't like that one bit. You see, flower tears are made of nectar and are very sticky. "Stop dripping on my hair, you ugly old flower," snapped Hilda. "I'm sorry," sobbed the flower, "but I can't help crying. You made me do it." "Are you crying because I'm crying?" Hilda asked. The flower nodded. "If I stop crying, will you stop too?" she asked. The flower nodded again. So Hilda stopped crying. Right away, the flower stopped crying too. It lifted up its head and turned from blue to red. It wasn't ugly anymore, but beautiful. It really was a magic flower. After that, every time Hilda cried, she went to look at the flower. Sure enough, it would be crying too. It looked so sad and miserable that Hilda had to stop crying so it could stop crying too. Hilda decided to give up crying altogether because she didn't want to make her magic flower unhappy. Soon she'd completely forgotten how to cry, and nobody called her a crybaby anymore. Why, she didn't even cry when the flower died. Its petals withered and drooped and fell away. Just a little brown lump was left on the end of its stem. Every day Hilda went to look at the lump, hoping the flower would come back. Every day the lump was bigger. Then one day it went pop. Out flew hundreds and hundreds of tiny black seeds, riding on fluffy white parachutes. The wind blew them everywhere. Most of them landed in Hilda's garden, but some flew over the wall. Then it was wintertime, the long, cold wintertime. Nothing happened in Hilda's garden. But then spring came along. All the seeds sprouted and grew up into big plants. Soon every one of them burst into bloom, and Hilda's garden was full of beautiful red magic flowers. No one knows where Hilda's garden is, so you can't go to see her flowers. But some of those seeds blew over the wall, remember? Did they land in your garden?